Hey everybody, how you doing? Hope you're well. This is Andrew McFadyen-Ketchum with a baby in the background. Uh, on day 22 of reading my second book of poems, Visiting Hours. More, like every other day, every 3 days or something like that, reading it to you poem by poem. Due to the coronavirus, this just came out on March 12th with Stephen F. Austin University Press. And due to coronavirus, like so many of us, I've had to cancel all my events and the book release and everything. So I'm sharing it with you in a slightly different way. And I'm happy to report that I'm seeming to be over strep throat, and Karen seems to be almost over strep throat. And I threw out my back 5 days ago, and I seem to be over that now. I was a little irritated when that happened. It's just too many complications all in a row. But we're all on the mend. I hope you're doing well as well. Like I said, this is the 22nd poem. There are only 24 poems in this book, so we are getting toward the end here. This is called On the 10th Anniversary of Mary's Death. On the 10th anniversary of Mary's death, we're supposed to return to this place of ledges and pressure-washed parking spaces, low and labored winter clouds, the shadows of high-rises. Sky. On the 10th anniversary of Mary's death, we're supposed to return here. I, my mother, my father, I, her mother, her father. We're supposed to drop by on impulse from our work days of high schoolers and familial obligations, on the same day and in the same weather, having donned the same raiment and holding forth the same dour portraits of our faces as echoes rise from the one-way 7 stories below. A baby wailing her hunger sirens from her stroller perched on the curb, the homeless man busking for change on the corner, the orange-vested workman singing down his commandments from the basket of the Nashville Electric Company cherry picker. On the 10th anniversary of Mary's death, we're supposed to meet here unplanned. No communiques from this 7-story terrace of parking spots and freezing rain. No emails. No time and place encoded in a text. On a Wednesday, sad middle child of the 5-day work week, perhaps. Or the 23rd of August, that most arbitrary of dates. Maybe that extra 24 hours tacked on to the leap year. No matter the date, the same effluvia of the slow river, of trash rotting in gutters, of rotting teeth, the same blood of the same fish wafts up from the waterfront as I, my mother, my father, as I, her mother, her father, ascend the dim stairwells on our opposite corners of the garage, straining to make the climb to the roof where we're supposed to arrive, a bit dazed by the sudden blaze of daylight through the roof access doors we haul open and step through into the glare of 3 p.m., 10 a.m., just before dark. On the 10th anniversary of Mary's death, there's supposed to be that moment when we eye one another across the oily Aegean of brightly colored pickups and sedans, followed by that moment when we see one another and watch each other's mouths form the same words, "Who the fuck is that?" Before the next moment jigsaws into place and our faces unknot their confusion and we recognize each other all at once. And we know all at the same time that we've come to the same place for the same reason. None of us smiles or waves as we come together at the rooftop center. No one says anything at all. On the 10th anniversary of Mary's death, we're supposed to arrive alone, just the 5 of us, I, my mother, my father, I, her mother, her father, to form a crude elliptical of breathing. No one is supposed to say any of the logical things. How are you? Where is she? How did you know? As we peer into each other's eyes, and in much the same way a charged ion must see through the scope of a ground wire, we see into each other's pupils, and down into the blue maps of aortas, and down all the way through sinew and bone, into the all too easily bruised heel of the foot. Mary, in that moment, is supposed to appear, listening with her ears to the words lipping from our mouths as she presents us with comforting words that scroll like white subtitles across the dark scripts of our minds. Here, today, she's supposed to touch us. An earlobe, an elbow, the backs of the knees. She's supposed to be giving us back something taken away. And when it's time, she's supposed to slink back into the cracked and weathered pavement like a drying up creek bed, like a shadow slowly losing its light source. And we're supposed to break our counsel and disperse from this place more than a decade after Mary's death by whatever ways we've come, by bus, by the tangled web of avenues, by the cool cylinder of a 737. And we're supposed to no longer wake from dreams of Mary still alive, only later to remember she is dead and grieve all over again. We're supposed to work regular hours for a living and pay the bills on time and sing along to the hymns of Mick Jagger without turning to sorrow, and remember to call our elders sir and ma'am, and recall more memories more fondly, and actually take note when a street changes names, and remember the name, and no longer get so damn lost on the way to the grocery or Target. Lost in that memory of that tiny eatery in Odessa, so full of song that burned like a little bell just drop-forged on the black, black sea in the days before Mary was no longer herself. What was it called? We're supposed to one day wonder aloud to ourselves above the steering wheel. The Mama Casala, the little cosmonaut, the girl who worked there, the working girl you didn't realize was a working girl until you failed to pay for a kiss. What was her name? I think she called herself Isabella. Or was it Elena? Or were we in Helsinki? Or Budapest? America? Who knows for sure who she was? Who knows for sure where we were? Who knows for sure who any of us are? If you like that poem and you're interested in buying this book, thank you to those of you who have so far. There's a link. You can buy it directly from me. I'll wash my hands, sign the book, put a moon button in there, and send it your way. Here are the moon buttons. And of course, it's on Amazon and the Stephen F. Austin University Press. Hope everybody is safe and healthy. Be good.